Well, blessings, everyone. I hope you guys can hear me. I apologize for yesterday. Today, I wanted to have a talk, a spiritual shamanic talk in regards to why you should continue your spiritual journey, um, and to understand the reason behind the shaking of your invigoration of the body, invigoration of just your whole spiritual journey while you are in that journey, and why the invigoration is so important for you to allow that into body, into your journey as you journey on with your spirit guides. For those of you that you haven't understood or really don't know why you are shaking when you are a shaman, I'm going to have that talk today. Let me know in the live chat on the side here. I know today's not Freeing Friday, but I was not able to come on yesterday, so I apologize for that. But write in the chat Juju Chi and Freeing Friday on a Saturday, right? Go and share the video to people that you know that needs it right now. But what I wanted to talk about, and I'll get into that here. The reason for shaking, there is a high energy when you are a shaman, when you're becoming a shaman. And I noticed this when I was becoming a shaman as well. I didn't plan on the shake. I didn't plan on really accepting or really knowing what was happening to me when I was going in my spiritual journey, becoming a shaman. Who knew that the shaking was going to be there? Who knew that we were going to have to go through many duties or on-call duties as a shaman? You get to see and you get to understand the experiences when you are in your shamanic journey. Way later on, you get to understand why the shaking is necessary, why you need to be willing to allow the voice to voice out. And sometimes your spiritual guides are not going to be able to do that with you right away, but they will be able to invigorate you. And typically, people that are not really yet shamans, but they feel this urge to become a shaman, they feel this urge to really find it, to really feel like they are wanting to go on the journey. They really want to seek the journey. They really want to find more about themselves, know more about the roots of where they come from, who they are, and why they're here. And then why would they, what is the purpose going forward? They really want to know all these things, but at the same time, they're really not sure how to do it. And sometimes again, when you're called, you don't really need to know how to do it. It'll come to you. It'll come, and the spirit guides will come in. They'll teach you what to do. They'll teach you that this is life right now, this is life here, and this is life going forward. And they'll start to teach you certain aspects of life in certain areas of your life. So there's that as well. There is also the feelings of just seeking to see if there's anything higher that you need to know to improve your mindset, to improve your own different areas of your life. For example, not getting a job, not being able to get there, or always being late, perhaps. There's always these disturbances in your life. And most people are trying to seek the journey, are trying to become more conscious because they really want to smoothen that out, or also to release the trauma, to release the karma that they've been in, and to try to understand why in this life did I come upon either these people in my life or these situations in my life. Okay. So there's this feeling of not knowing why you're here and what you're here for and what you're supposed to do. And there's been a lot of that lately. In this last week, I've been chatting and having a lot of different readings with different people on, you know, the purpose, life purpose, and then also how to go about the journey, which is the spiritual journey, and why is that important. I wanted to talk specifically today on the shaking part of a shaman. So if you are going to become a shaman, you typically would have some kind of vibration in yourself. And sometimes that happens when you are with a shaman, or a shaman is a shamanic ritual is being performed on you and for you. Then you start to have a mini vibration within your heart or within your body, and it starts to feel it in the arms, the legs, or perhaps also within the core of your body. And this is also called the vital chi center, or they call it also the prana of the body. Also very close in is the kundalini. So these are different words that just describes basically the vital energy source that is within your body. They also call it the dantian. So with these areas of the body that are being invigorated, your spirit guides knows exactly what they need to invigorate. And so when your body starts to have a vibration, or it's so when it starts to have a vibration, and that vibration is super high, or it's very invigorating, it will come to the point where you feel like you're shaking. And um, it is a very different feeling. It's a very refreshing feeling afterwards. At first, you don't really know what it is, but when you get into it and you get out of it, you will start to feel this refreshing energy. And some people say, I just feel so refreshed after warning, or yeah, the itu Sifu mo ka ti e ka warning or tauning la ya ka cheng warning. Then you're gonna start to feel the shaking, and the shaking afterwards starts to feel, even though you're fearing a little bit because you don't know what's going to happen, and you're maybe sitting in front of a candle or in front of an altar, and you're just feeling this kind of like, I don't know what's going on, what I'm supposed to do. And you're not supposed to do anything but just to feel the vibration and to allow the vibration to happen. Okay. And you're supposed to allow this vibration to invigorate your body over and over and over again. And the reason for I keep saying continue to practice, continue to do what you guys need to do if you are in your shamanic how do I say, your shamanic journey, right? And you are in fact journeying, then you want to continue the journey. You want to continue however your Sifu tells you. But if you are doing it like once a month on your, they call it your, oneng, right? Once a month or once a week, or is it twice a month? Whatever the frequency might be, it is upon your spirit guides to let you know that you need to go and do your journey, right? And if sometimes they let you know, you are still not willing and making yourself available to do your journey because you feel like maybe it's not that important, or you're being distracted and you're really feeling like I'm kind of fearing doing this. What is all this about? I want you guys to go with the flow, because that's what I did. And when you go with the flow, you start to really hone in your abilities, your gifts and abilities. You start to really understand um, why my body is invigorating and how it's invigorating, and who, as in the spirit guides, are with me invigorating body. And this is also it tells you, and it tells the body that you are being guided by your spirit guides. You are being guided to have this shaman shake, or this spiritual shake or vibration. It is so strong, your vibration is so strong that it makes you shake, and literally physically shaking. Um, when that happens, you are in fact in I call it a vibration bath, or a vibration cleanse. You are very, very much being cleansed by your spirit guides. You're being cleansed with the vibrations of these high vibrations coming in and cleansing the whole body. And it goes from blood, body fluids to DNA, RNA, to everything else that's within your body that has not been invigorated. And what that also means is that you're being cleansed of trauma, of karma, okay? For those of you that have discovered that you have spirit guides and are already on your horses, so to speak, and are going and journeying and shaking, this is what's happening inside of your body. And I'm literally letting you guys know that you are really much, very much being cleansed with everything else that's been in your lives thus far, up to the point where you started to vibrate and shake, that you are very much being cleansed by your spirit guides. You're being cleansed with some energies of the universe to cleanse that prana, or the vital life force within your body, the dantian or whatever they call it, right? But how do I say, monu wakanu ku lo tia lo to to ya ko tia li wa to nen ko tia li zo nen ko tia li yo mo ho ko lu je ho ge ha tia ko sa la pa tin nen tia la sa la pa da ka la pa ko the king. In this week, I've noticed that there's a ton of people that has been on the spiritual path seeking. I've also noticed that there's been a lot of people that have been seeking but haven't found anything, and they also haven't found really what they've been looking for. They haven't found the purpose. And I'll tell you guys right now that the purpose, do not expect the purpose to be like a one sentence or a one object or subject. The purpose could be vast, could be experiences, could be a ton of life situations that you will have to go through, because those are your purposes, right? You go through those things to find, and then your ultimate purpose in this lifetime. And until you are able to let yourself be invigorated, or if some of you, you may not have the invigoration of vibrations, but perhaps you'll have the knowing, this inner knowing, or some of the different clairs of the psychic abilities, as in seeing clearly, as in hearing clearly, as in telepathy, right? Or telekinesis, whatever those different gifts that you may have from your spirit guides, and that maybe is natural to you, you will start to then be able to hopefully be willing to go in it further. For some people that I've known so far, they have stopped on the way or have left that behind or put that to the side, and they are never able to really get their missing links together. The moment you stop and you don't look further and you're saying, okay, I just want to be happy with my life, but really, what does it mean to really be happy with your life, right? Because we are in a paradigm that is very things that we want to see, touch, and feel, but sometimes we are in this world, we cannot see, touch, and feel. And so we must be willing to let ourselves go in regards to the benevolent energy, to see what is up for us, right? What is that experience for us that we need to experience? Or this one situation that I need to experience before I can experience the next situation. And it could be good, it can be bad. But one of the things that I've learned to do is to embrace my abilities, to embrace different situations and or experiences in my life, and able to just release some of the karma or trauma that was in my life, and to actually make it better, to actually find it to be a better way to just face it off. For one of the students that I was doing shamanic training for this week, I asked him before he went on to his altar, and I said, how are you feeling right now? And he says, I feel scared. And I said, you just got through a huge illness and you're still getting through it as we speak. Would you rather face this illness, or would you rather sit and face your altar and face your guides? What is worse, facing an illness? And an illness, guys, can mean anything from anything imbalanced in your body to even mental, emotional, bodily illnesses, to negative situations, right? Anxiety, whatever you want to call it. It's an imbalance in your life. So I told him, I said, would you rather face off your illness again and go through that whole pain again? Or would you rather sit here at your altar, face your spirit guides, and connect with them? What's worst, right? What's worst? We don't know what can be worse in the future, but we do know what can be worse right now. And for some of you, you're facing pain in the body, and that's me. I faced a lot of pain throughout my young life and also a lot of hardships in my life. But you know, the day that I received my gifts and abilities and I started to find out really what I had as a good spiritual gift and ability that was guiding me and was willing to come in and guide me, right off the bat, there was no brainer to that I just went ahead and just followed. And I followed what they were teaching me. Again, you don't want to be able to, you want to be able to decipher what is good and negative, what is bad, what is good. Are you following the right ones? Are you following the wrong ones? What is it that you're following? So you do need to decipher. So I had to do that first, obviously, before I gave in. But the moment I gave in to the benevolent following of my spirit guides and their guidance and their teachings, it was like off to the races I went. There was a lot of experiences where my body was invigorated and shaking, and this caused my body to actually improve, as in illnesses, as in mental or emotional imbalances in my body. I felt so refreshed afterwards, and all the ones that I've helped along the way, whether they were a formal disciple or a client, disciple type, right? Students always come my way. All my clients are students because they always learn something from me. They always take away something, right? And throughout my experience of helping my disciples, whether formal, informal, all my clients, the ones that were getting to, the point where they were going to shake or not shake, or those that they had a Sifu, but then they couldn't, go forward with their Sifu. They couldn't feel it or find the way to learn from them. There was just a blockage between them and their Sifu, and they would come to me, and they were able to invigorate themselves, and we were able to help them to do that. And then after those sessions, I would say every session, right, of those invigorations, my students or clients always felt better. They always felt like as if they were, they went into the ocean and came back out. So I want to encourage you guys to allow yourselves to invigorate. The only way you can continue to invigorate, or even to start to invigorate, if you are going to, in fact, be a healer, a shamanic healer, or spiritual healer, whatever you want to call it, the only way that you can allow yourself to invigorate is to not fear your spirit guides. The moment you start fearing your spiritual journey, the moment you start fearing, are these guides real? Are they good? Are they bad? Are they evil? Are they going to do things to me? Are they going to tell me to do some bad things? You want to leave all those thoughts out, because those are distracting thoughts, and those are all fearful thoughts and doubtful thoughts about your journey. They're all doubtful in regards to you even going forward with your journey at all. Because what does the negative energies like to do? They like you to pull you as far away from your spiritual journey as they can. They like to pull you way farther into the midst of not knowing anything and just to live in this paradigm, in this, not the paradigm yet, but I'm talking about this physical waking life, right? And they want to tell you and whisper to your brain to tell you what is negative, what is distracting, and so that you can take yourself as far away from your spiritual journey as you can. And I've had this one client or disciple. And a long time ago, she was able to, at first, okay, so first instant, gifts came in. We were able to get the gifts to come in. She was invigorated. She felt the vibrations. And up to one point, she just kind of stopped everything and told her guides, I want to enjoy my life. I want happiness. She felt that this was a big burden on her, this whole invigoration, this whole spiritual journey, right? She felt that all the knowledge that she was downloading from the universe was a burden to her, and that people didn't understand her, so they judged her a lot. And she was also being in a mood where she would always be so hard to get up in the mornings, right? Or even during the day to go and do anything else, because she was so invigorated in her spiritual journey. And she looked at it as a burden. And I want to tell all of you that your spiritual journey is not a burden. There's a good reason why your spirit guides chose you and chose to come teach you. There is no mistake there. The only mistake that is made is when you make the choice and you decide to walk away from your spirit guides, or you decide to put them on the side, like in the back burner, so that you can go work and be a slave for money, so that you can go have fun with your friends and go out to parties, so that you can, go casually drink with your friends or buddies and just have, conversations with them, maybe release your stress that way. You feel like you're releasing your stress. You feel like you're getting away from life, right? But the next morning, you wake up and you feel that you have not achieved anything. You feel that you have not found the answer to anything that you were looking for. Whether you were having a, relationship problem, whether you were having a career choice problem or no job and unemployed, whatever the situation may be, you've left your spiritual path on the side or really away, and you've put that in, like, your treasure box or something, and you've shut that away. And I've known people that have shut that away for 20 plus years because they were what? Because they were afraid, because they were fearful through other people's experiences that they had, because they went on the wrong journey, because they took the wrong turn, and they believed in a negative and they couldn't decipher. So they were in a negative because somebody else's experiences, this person was afraid. Because someone else's judgment on you, this person was afraid. I want to encourage all of you today to not be afraid of your spiritual journey, to not be afraid of when you set up your altar, if you're ready to that point, right? For some of you, you may not be there at all. You may just be looking for a reading and you just want to know what's happening in your life, right? But for some of you, you have been on the journey for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. For some of you, you've been on the journey for 20 years and it's been on the back burner all this time. But the point is, you left it. You decided to choose to leave it because you are in the chosen category of ones who can choose whether to do it or not do it. There are ones that cannot choose, and you are called to do it. And when you are called to do something, even if you chose, hey, I'm not going to do it today, I'm not going to do this right now, some way, somehow, your guides are going to pull you back in and teach you. Whether one way or another, whether you have to sit in front of a candle or white candle, right? Whether you have to sit in front of your altar, whether you are drawn to go buy a little statue of Buddha, whatever that may be, you're going to be drawn to do it if you're called. But if you are chosen and you're choosing to leave your spirit guides, to leave them on the side, then it's just the same in the analogy of you choosing to run away from home or to run away from your parents. where you birthed, where you rooted from, right? You're choosing to run away and hide. And for some of you, it was very bad, especially for these other ones that I've known. They've run away and hide, and they don't choose spirituality. So they choose to have fun. They choose to go do things on the waking life, on the physical life. And then all of a sudden one day they disappear or they're gone from this earth because they were so miserable in what they were doing and they couldn't figure out what it was. What was that missing link that I'm missing in my life? And so they take on their own lives and they choose to go and transition and cross over to see if there's something better for them. I'll tell you right now, then in the spiritual sense, there is nothing better than right now. There is nothing better than right now, as in your life, as in what you know, especially being born in this lifetime for some of you. I've often was told by my grandparents, you're lucky that you guys and your generations were born in a time where the world is at peace, so to speak, right? That it wasn't as worse as theirs because they had to go and chop wood. They had no electricity in their home. They had to go and carry water. They had to go and find their food and make their food and create their food. Perhaps that is something that we have taken for granted as in this generation and generation X, Y, Z, and whatever else generations there is to come. Perhaps we are taking for granted all these things and that we will be going back to a time where we will need to carry our own firewood. We will need to carry our own water. We will need to go and fetch our own food. Because that is kind of where we are taking for granted all these things that are sort of there. It's not really given to us, but we still have to work for it. We still have to slave away every day for it. If you are working and you are in an hourly position or in an annual position, whatever position, you are being paid and hired by somebody, you are a slave in the paradigm that we are in. You are slaving away to get these things, the food, the electricity, the water, whatever it is that you are getting, right, to you, for you, so that you can live a better quality of life. There's no doubt that we have slaved away for these items, material things, or things to make our lives easier. But I'll tell you right now that if you stop seeking your spiritual journey today, or when you did, you need to go back to that thought. And you need to go back to saying, why did I leave it in the first place? How was it hurting me? Or was it myself allowing judgments to hurt me, how others judged me, how I told myself negative thoughts about myself and about my journey? Where did I go wrong in stopping my spiritual journey and leaving it to the side and feeling bad for myself, feeling like I wasn't worthy or something, or maybe the journey wasn't worth my time? If you had these thoughts, right, then you have gone away from your journey and you need to come back. You need to find your way back to the journey. You need to find your way back onto this lifeline, as I call it, right? When I do my Faliti Chi, I always go up and pull the lifelines to me to cultivate new life or living energies for the vital energy force of my body. And that is something that you guys need to do. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go and watch Faliti Chi demo. It is a video that I have out there on YouTube. The first 3 exercises that I do, and you can follow along and cultivate your energies as well. These are the energies of the Ntseeg energy, all right? The energies to invigorate your body, even to the smallest inch of your body, to invigorate it so that you can be cleansed in that area. The moment you start invigorating You may not know it and feel it fully, but it could be a small, tiny invigoration in your body. And yet you are being cleansed because you have asked for this healing or this cleansing at some point in your life in the current time, right? So then it comes to you in that way. Why is it important for us to not leave or choose to let go of our spiritual journey and to also be afraid, right, of really sitting in front of all our altars? If you are one that already on the spiritual path, on your shamanic path, and you still feel like I don't have a don't have a Sifu, right? You haven't found one, or you don't trust enough in people to actually find one. No, that's me too. I admit. I denied myself of even having a Sifu at all. But at the same time, I had Sifus, which were my spiritual guides, and they have taught me going forward. For some of you, you may deny it as much as you can, but you can't because you now have to find a Sifu, okay? So don't get me wrong. A Sifu is a good thing, but again, you must find the correct one, the one that can teach you and you can learn from, the one that you want to learn from, the one that you feel like I have this urge that this person can help me. I have this feeling that I could trust them. That's going to be the feeling that you have when you meet your Sifu. And I really like the way they talk. There's just something about this Sifu or teacher that I feel like I can trust and that I know that they're going to be able to help me. This is the feeling that you must have. For me, I never felt that way about anybody. So my spirit guides were always the ones to teach me. I always had a mentor, though I didn't do as the mentor said at all most of the time. I did go with the basics, yes, but I always did what my spirit guides taught me. And sometimes those were contradicting to whatever else other people were doing. I'll tell you right now that I cannot be compared to any other Sifu or teacher or shamanic healer. In the way that I do things, it is different. There may be one-offs out there that are very similar to mine or to me. And I give you kudos for that as well. But I'll tell you right now that the spiritual path that you have gone on, if you have already, the ones that you are trying to go on, for you guys that are still trying to get there and trying to find that Sifu, and you have not yet found, but you want to, continue to find, continue to search, and continue to question. Though be humble in your questioning, and also be humble in your seeking path. Because the more humble that you are, the better and smoother that your path and things will come into your path that you will attract. It is again the law of attraction as well. But going back to this part where you need to let yourself, if you're on the path and you're trying to go on your horse, so to speak, and invigorate, you must allow that to invigorate through you not fearing the connection with your spirit guides. The doubtfulness that you have with your spirit guides of, are they good? Are they bad? I just don't know if they're going to be the bad ones and they might hurt me. And you're scared of death or something. Or are you? So it goes back to not letting yourself think negative when you are sitting in front of your altar and you're ready to go. It's more like just don't think of anything and just don't expect anything at the same time. And then things will go well for you or be smooth. It is the person that doesn't know or doesn't act like they know it all, right? It goes back to the emptying half of your cup. Don't let your cup be so full of water or whatever liquids that are in there. You empty that halfway and don't anticipate, and allow yourself to just feel and go with the flow. The moment you start going with the flow, then your body will start to allow yourself to invigorate, because that's when your body says, hey, you're ready to get your cleansing, because you're not suppressing yourself, right? Remember that word. You heard it from Master Pali Chi. Don't allow yourself to be suppressed, right? Pushed down when there are negative thoughts or by negative thinking or by anybody's judgment upon you that has been negative, right? If you allow those things to suppress your mind, to suppress you to the point where you're giving up on your spiritual journey, where you are giving up and think that it's a burden now because you are now thinking negative, right? Or that you are putting it to the back burner and say, hey, I'll come back to that someday when I have time. Right now, I don't have time for my spiritual journey. I don't have time to do all this stuff. I've heard people call it mumbo jumbo, right? All this stuff that's been, taking up most of my time. I feel like I can't get anywhere. This type of talk, self-talk, right, is not going to get you there, but it's going to hinder you. It's going to actually stop you at a later date in time, or even now, right? It can stop you sooner or later on your spiritual journey and seeking path. Then when you turn about 45, 50 years old, you think to yourself, I wonder if I went on the path and I didn't leave it to the side, how it would have been, how my life would have been easier, right? Would it have been new information that I would have downloaded by this time and improved myself? Would I have lost weight? Would I have met the right person in my life? Would I have attracted this person? Yes, there is no coincidence. We go through some things in our lives for a reason, and there's always a reason. However, to not have that reason, you must be able to make the right decision in the first place and to decipher in the first place. To allow yourself to not fear it so much, where you just let yourself be free, like on my Freeing Fridays, and free your mind of any negative, fearful, doubtful thoughts that you may have that is stopping you and holding on to you, your hands and your leg, like chains. It is up to you as the warrior of yourself to say no to those chains or those things that are holding you, and to allow yourself to set yourself free. Why is that so important in this lifetime? Because this is what happens when you don't set yourself free. You live in your own space and you don't want anybody to come into your space. You live in your own darkness. And then you live in it so long, for some of you, that you dwell in it so long that that becomes your lifestyle. And then that lifestyle becomes a dark lifestyle, becomes a place where you have no friends, no family. Then you don't want to talk to anybody. Then at the last moment, you can't express yourself to anybody because then you feel so much on your brain that someone is going to judge you the moment you talk. And that judgment's going to get to you because you're that sensitive. And then it's going to lead to you being a slave to the negative, meaning for some people is to commit suicide, right? And that part, for all of you guys that are listening, I love you guys all for supporting me on my channel and for listening today on a Saturday, because I wasn't able to come on yesterday on my Freeing Friday. But I want you guys to share this video with people that you know that are doing this right now. Because why? It may save their lives, right? I cannot guarantee that. But I want to tell them this, the ones that are lost and drained, and that you feel like you've lost all your energy because you've been thinking so much in your head and analyzing so much about your life, that you can't even get yourself to do the actions, that you can't even get yourself up and to see the sun on sunny days, right? Or to enjoy and dance in the rain on rainy days. Whatever that may be, you need to enjoy the time that you have on this earth. You were put on here for a reason. You need to allow yourself, if you are on the journey, to allow yourself to invigorate, meaning practice, practice, practice Whether you get 0 out of your practice or 1 to 2 to 3 or 10 things, it doesn't matter. The point is your momentum, are you pedaling that bike? Is your momentum going? When your momentum stops, everything in your life cycle of you, whatever that may be, tends to stop. You want to say to yourself, as long as there is my breath, then I can do it. As long as I'm breathing, I don't even have to think about my breathing, and I'm doing it. So why is it hard for me to do something else? Can it just be just like my breath, where I don't have to think about it and I'm just continually breathing? If it could just be like my breath of anything that I do, then you would have done it all, the things that you wanted to do. Continue to tell yourself these things. You sometimes will have to force yourself to think positive because the negatives are in, right? They're around you, perhaps. And that's why you're thinking negative, or you're not being able to get yourself out and up and into the open. Yes, you need to guard yourself. I don't. Say no to that. You need to guard yourself. You need to be willing to protect yourself and be a warrior and decipher all the time. But at the same time, you can still be free within that whole space that you want to put yourself in. And there's a reason why you feel this the way that you do, your momentum. And by allowing yourself to, if you are already there, biết ổn nắng là do tại yếu chân nắng chỉ chân nắng là do thì có yên thiệt đầu Sifu là yên thiệt chỉ tao là có tới biết tranh ổn nắng là có tranh chỉ tao tranh để chỉ thôi ít tu tin nắng khó có thế ổn nắng là do ổn nắng khó có ổn nắng ngoài dài là do sai có xứ có tới phụ mua họ tranh có tới mua họ có lú cha lú chị nó họ tranh lợi có ở tàu chia có tụ khen muốn chia có tàu ít tu Sifu là do hạt tiệt tới ít lú tánh and allow yourself to invigorate có tranh. That is when có li khoan nén là do even though có chỉ bảo là ba có là chúa có lú đòi chăn đòi chế là chế cho ya chỉ trong tuần có. That is the important thing about shaking as a shaman. Because then you are more on an unbiased sense. You are allowing yourself to go into the ocean without being afraid of what's in the ocean, of the unknown, and come back out alive and well and cleansed. Okay? That is all I want to say for today on this spring Saturday, right? On a Saturday here. Warm blessings to those of you that have joined in. Go like and subscribe all the time. I'm going to ask that of you guys. If you don't take anything away, at least you take away the part where you need to shake to allow invigoration of positive energies into body, bioenergetically and physically, to stay there, to continue to be with you, to continue to say, hey, you are worthy to be invigorated. If you are ones that are, if you have not been in invigoration mode and you have not felt that ever, then that perhaps is something coming out for you if you are watching me right now. Okay. All right. I was going to take some Freeing Friday freebie drawing of a card for you guys. If you guys want to ask a question, go on ahead. And I'm just going to be here for the next couple minutes here. Okay. But I want to tell you that your spiritual journey is super important, that you continue to go on and to not get lost without it or to leave it. It is hard at first because it's a huge learning curve. Your guides are taking you guys. I want to say this because your guides, your spiritual guides, are taking you guys from point zero or underground here from what you have not known all your lives, right? Maybe you've known it in your past lives, but not in this lifetime. So you have an inch about it that it may be good, but you're also fearing it. So maybe so perhaps your guides are taking you from ground zero or even below of those things that you've learned socially that was so corrupted and is so corrupted your minds to the point where when you got invigorated and you are on your journey, you are not fearful because you're not used to it. And it's not your norm because it's not in the corruption. It is actually of pure thoughts. But then you are afraid of these pure thoughts because that's how corrupted your brain has been washed. So I want you guys to allow yourselves to have your guides guide you so that you can find your pure thoughts in a more benevolent way that is true, that is your consciousness and a higher cut subconsciousness that you need to get to before you turn 120 years old. And don't even think about running away from your spirit guides or your spiritual journey, because that is what you need. And that's why they've come. Just like any miracle, anything good that comes into your life, they come because they know it's needed. All right? Warm blessings. I'm going to pull a card for Lily L. Take a deep breath with me, all of you guys that are on right now. Go and like and subscribe to the channel. Love flows to all of you guys. For those of you that haven't gotten abundance yet this year or thus far in your lives, or maybe there's a ton of abundance and you just can't see it, I want you to start to see your abundance. Just because you don't have or are unemployed, just because you don't have someone to support you, that you feel like they're not supporting you. Maybe they are, but you don't know. Just because you lost your job, just because you have gone through a ton of bad things, I want you to take those to the side and just wipe them away like a windshield wiper, wipe, and start to see clearly from today on and see the things that are popping out at you, that will pop out at you within the next week here or so, of all the things that's been abundant in your lives. That's what you need to do. All right. This is going to be for Lily L. Here's your card, okay? So Lily, L, what I pulled out for you is a card of hearts, 3. And what this really means is you are on a journey and you are starting to realize that all these things that's been in your head in regards to love or maybe even relationship has been very suppressing to you, and it's like this really hard surface that you can't really budge yourself out. And this is the time where you are actually going to be budging out, and like a seed that's been put into the ground and it's going to be growing up and it's going to be blooming soon. This is where you're at right now. Okay, so this is for Lily L. You're on a positive route right now, and this route is going to lead you to a much, much higher energy in the next few weeks here. And I want you to take a look at all the things in your life that has been positive. Remove all the negatives that you have thought about, or maybe even have thought that they were negative, but when they weren't. So I want you to take the picture and create positive out of all these pictures that's been in your head so far. All right, Scorpio. Card for Scorpio. Warm blessings, Judy Xiong. Okay. Warm blessings to you. You're welcome. This is for Scorpio. Okay. Scorpio. you are on a high energy as I speak now. Your card tells me that you are on the right path as well, and you're trying to you've been trying to keep it positive for a very long time, Scorpio. And I think that it's time that you start to, I'm just reading some of my chat messages here. Warm blessings to all of you guys. Scorpio, I want to tell you that this is a time of abundance. This is a time of opening your heart again to some things that you need to really embrace. I think you've been embracing some of these things on a high level, but now it's time to open it up to the physical level. Sometimes you have to do it physically to really feel it. And Scorpio right now is you physically that needs it. Okay. So take the time out to do that for yourself physically. You do need to reward yourself, everybody, you know, that's listening right now. If you've been doing some very hard labor, so to say, spiritually or physically, you'll have to balance that out and do it spiritually or physically, one way or another. So Scorpio, yours was very spiritual, and now you've got to go into the physical aspect to reward yourself and recognize that. I hope that makes sense to you, Scorpio. Warm blessings, Lily L. You're welcome. And Judy, I'm going to pull out a card for you here. And I'm going to be doing this the last one here, guys. So this is for Judy. Show. Warm blessings to all of you that has caught me here on YouTube Live. I didn't expect anybody to be on, actually, because it was so off from yesterday. All right. So Judy, yours is a 9 of hearts. I'm showing cards today, guys. So Judy, you have the 9 of hearts. There's a very humble experience that you've been feeling and been having come to your whole life. And I think you've never felt this in your whole life until just more recently, Judy. And it's just, you've been feeling so humble about everything, so much gratitude for everything that you've had in your life. And I think what you did for the last week or so is you've taken, or even the last month or so, is you've taken the negatives and you've wiped them clean, just like a windshield wiper. And you're starting to see really clear things in your life that you have not seen before, not felt before, Judy. And I want to tell you that this is the time where all this good stuff is coming in abundantly to you, but more about, not about as in money abundance or, you know, financial abundance, but it's more about self-abundance or love abundance within you and within your relationship. Okay. I want to stop there, Judy. I hope that makes sense. Hey guys, if everything makes sense, give me hearts and stars and juju chi. Warm blessings, and I have to get going now, but we will talk to you guys soon, hopefully next Friday or so. I may not make an announcement because my duties are so off sometimes, and they can come and go as they please in regards to the duties that I need to do. So I want to tell you guys that just continue to subscribe and stay on. Stick with me. The more that you stick with me, the more that you will be more intelligent, because all the information is coming from intelligence of spirit guides and guidance. Okay. So continue to spread the word of Faliti healing and Master Palai Chi out. I appreciate all of you guys and all the things that you are doing to help and support the channel. Warm blessings, and we'll talk to you